You there, listener. Take heed and like this video should you face the wrath of Lin Moyu in disgrace towards the human race. Mwahahaha. It is not a trivial matter for all ethnic groups in the world that the Buddhists come to discuss Buddhism. This time Kongwen Buddha came and attracted millions of people to listen to the lecture. As a result, after speaking for a few days, Kongwen Buddha told himself to death. Such a sudden and bizarre thing happened right before his eyes, but Lin Tang had no clue at all. The divine dragon that came carrying the Buddha hall also possessed the strength of a divine realm. At this time, it also couldn't figure out why the Buddha died in such a strange way after hearing that the Buddha died so well. Lin Tang had no choice but to report the matter to Zhu Qian. Lin Moyu, like others, seems to be feeling the Buddha's voice at this time. It is impossible for him to admit it, or else he cannot explain it. Could it be said that Kongwen Buddha was killed by his own system because he failed to kill himself? Besides, he still doesn't know what is the relationship between the high-level people of the human race and the Buddhist clan. The various behaviors of the Buddhas and the acquiescence of the human race made Lin Moyu feel a little abnormal. Lin Moyu is not stupid. Now he is very clear that strength speaks for itself in the big world. Without strength, everything is fake. If there is a strong man who is better than the god, it will be delicious to fart. Lin Moyu pretended to be comprehending, and looked no different from the people around him. Thinking about this experience in my mind. This time, things developed too quickly, and Lin Moyu didn't have much time to think during the process. Looking back now, it is clear that Kongwen Buddha was targeting himself. From just one point, Lin Moyu can tell. Kongwen Buddha actually knew that his surname was Lin. Kongwen Buddha is not a human race, so he can't see his name through the human emperor's network. And in the soul world, the Renwang network has lost its function. There are millions of people here. If Kongwen Buddha didn't come for himself, how would he know that his surname is Lin? Kongwen Buddha obviously concealed it at the beginning, but he didn't care about it later when he became murderous. He came targeting me, but I have no intersection with the Buddhist clan. Why did he come to trouble me? 1. First you want to save me, but if you can't save me, you want to kill me. After I came to the big world, I didn't offend anyone. It can't be the human race. Then it's the demons. I just don't know whether it is Kongwen who came to kill me alone, or whether the Buddhas are all coming to kill me. Lin Moyu quickly analyzed the culprit who wanted to kill him, and Qian probably belonged to the Mozu. In this regard, Lin Moyu is also a little helpless. It seems that we can only be more careful in the future. Kongwen can find himself among millions of people and know that he is here. The means of the Buddha family should not be underestimated. After reaching the conclusion, Lin Moyu recalled the whole process of this soul war again. The war broke out in one's own soul world. In fact, he was the home court, which was beneficial to him. Kongwen Buddha's soul grade is not much different from his own, both are 4th grade. Theoretically speaking, you don't have to be afraid of hearing about the Buddha. But he lost, and almost lost his life. It was the turn of Kongwen Buddha's treasures. One soul treasure after another beat him to the point where he was powerless to fight back. This feeling of powerlessness is the first time I have encountered it since changing jobs. Lin Moyu also became vigilant because of this. The big world is no better than the small world. In the big world, there are many treasures. This time is just a trivial example. Maybe he will encounter more and stronger treasures in the future, so it's a bit of a disadvantage for him to be unarmed. If there is a chance, it is necessary to get some treasures for yourself, at least the treasures in the soul, which are indispensable. Finally someone woke up. Lin Moyu woke up together, his eyes were blank, as if he didn't know what happened. After more and more people woke up, Lin Moyu took advantage of the opportunity to wake up Ren Qiang. Ren Qiang was even more dazed than Lin Moyu, his eyes were dull. What happened? Lin Moyu whispered, it seems that Kong heard something happened to the Buddha. Ren Qiang snorted, what happened to Space Buddha? Lin Moyu shook his head, expressing that he did not know. It is impossible for him to tell anyone about the full set of acting. The two stood at the outermost edge of the crowd, and they could vaguely see some of the situation in the altar. At this time, there were only Lin Tang and Shenlong on the altar. After a while, the space was distorted, and a small battleship suddenly appeared in the starry sky. In the next second, Zhu Qian flew out of the battleship and appeared on the altar with one step. Lin Tang told what happened. Zhu Qian carefully inspected Kongwen Buddha's situation, and said loudly, everyone, leave. Shenlong suddenly raised his head, no, it's in his hands. Zhu Qian's eyes narrowed slightly. Do you think there are people here who can kill Kongwen Buddha silently? This. Shenlong choked violently. Among the people present, the tallest is no more than the God King, and there are not many God Kings. Most of them are in the real God realm or even the super God realm. How could it be possible to kill Kongwen Buddha who has reached the God Venerable realm silently? If this is all right, the Buddha of the Buddhist family is too fragile. Zhu Qian said in a deep voice, I will talk to you Buddha about this matter. You should take the space Buddha back first, maybe the experts of the Buddha clan can find out some clues. Since this matter happened in the territory of our human race, we will naturally investigate to the end. The old man also wants to know who is so powerful that he can kill the Buddha's soul silently. As the domain master, Zhu Qian has a lofty status. He said so, and Shenlong didn't dare to say anything. It picked up the Buddha hall again, placed Kongwen Buddha's body in the Buddha hall, and flew to the starry sky. Lin Moyu watched them leave, and secretly thought it was a pity. If this corpse could be given to him, he would have a brand new whole card. In the future, even if you encounter a god, you will have the strength to fight. Unexpectedly, a grand lecture on Buddhism would end in this way. The crowd dispersed in the starry sky. Ren Qiang pulled Lin Moyu. Let's go too. Lin Moyu doesn't want to stay here for a long time. I'm afraid there will be side effects. Zhu Qian's voice suddenly sounded next to his ear. Little friend Lin, please come, of Wang's. Lin Moyu paused, and said to Ren Qiang, I still have something to do, you go back and wait for me. Ren Qiang didn't ask anything, and directly agreed, okay. Lin Moyu flew over and landed in front of Zhu Qian. Lin Moyu has met Lord Domain Master and Star Master. Zhu Qian smiled slightly, so you know each other. Lin Tang said, there was a once-in-a-lifetime relationship. Before Lin Xiaoyu came to the galaxy, I saw that Lin Xiaoyu is also the master of the world, so I said hello to Lin Xiaoyu. I see. Zhu Qian smiled, as if he didn't take the matter of Kongwen Buddha to heart at all. For him, Lin Moyu is more important. Zhu Qian took out two things, a small tower and a small sword. Both of these things are shining with dazzling light and exuding powerful aura beams. Especially the small sword, its aura is so strong that it is almost like a god, and it is also accompanied by the power of the soul. Lin Moyu was slightly taken aback. Soul treasure. Zhu Qian was holding two things, and Lin Moyu recognized the small pagoda among them, which was clearly the Gulay pagoda of the God Execution Fortress. It's just that the aura emanating from the small tower seems to be stronger than Gulay Tower. The other one is a small jade sword. The first thing Lin Moyu saw was not Guleta, but this small sword. The little sword exudes a strong soul breath, and is a treasure of the soul. Zhu Qian pushed the two items in front of Lin Moyu. This is in exchange for your elemental law stone. This tower is called the Tower of the King of War, the magic weapon of the God King realm. With full power, it can fight against the God King, and it can also be used as an aircraft in normal times. With its protection, it is difficult for ordinary God King realm to kill you. As for this sword, you should have sensed it. This is a magic weapon of the soul. I know that you have a soul garment on your body. The soul garment is made by refining your own soul. You only need to continue to invest in corresponding materials to upgrade it in the future, and there is no need to replace it. In addition to the power of defense, the soul also needs attack power. This small sword is called the soul-killing sword. It is also a magic weapon of the God King realm. You will know the specific function after refining it. Lin Moyu didn't take the two magic weapons directly. His eyes were clear and devoid of greed. Lord Domain Master, the original stone of the law of elements should not be exchanged for these. Zhu Qian chuckled. If it's an ordinary rough stone of the law of elements, of course it won't work. But yours is different. It contains a mass of the origin of the law of elements inside. If it weren't for 183 and your level is still low, the old man originally wanted to be the master and give you a treasure of the God realm. So don't worry, we still take advantage of you. Lin Moyu was no longer polite, and took the two magic weapons. Even if you give me the treasure of God's realm, I can't use it. Zhu Qian smiled with satisfaction. You can refine it now. The old man is watching. If you don't understand, just ask. Thank you, Domain Master. Lin Moyu immediately started refining. It was the first time for him to refine a magic weapon from the big world, so he was afraid that something might go wrong. It happened that Zhu Qian was at the side, so you can ask him if you don't understand. With a light touch of Zhu Qian's finger, the god-level laws spread silently, covering the surrounding area. Outsiders can't see at all what happened within the rules. Not only can't see it, but also can't get in. Lin Tang's eyes sparkled. Master Yu is very kind to Lin Xiaoyu. Zhu Qian glared at him angrily. With your old mind, you can't figure it out. The two had known each other for many years. How could Zhu Qian not know what kind of person Lin Tang was? Who can become a god? Who would be a fool? As long as ACCG has a little clue about some things, you can guess it all. Lin Tang didn't deny it either. Lin Xiaoyu is indeed a rare genius. Only the four souls are beyond the reach of anyone. I have a pair of granddaughters, and the twins are very beautiful. Top. Zhu Qian interrupted Lin Tang. Don't think about it, you don't know, those old guys are lining up to introduce him to someone. But I stopped them all. Now Lin Xiaoyu is not suitable for flirting with each other. Lin Tang whispered, not suitable. Lin Xiaoyu has already married and started a business in the small world, you don't know it. Zhu Qian's eyebrows twitched twice. He really didn't know about Lin Moyu in the small world. Originally, he wanted to investigate, but the city lord refused, and he could only give up if he was not allowed to go. Seeing Zhu Qian's appearance, Lin Tang understood that he really didn't know. Zhu Qian said lightly, since he has already married, he should not talk about love, and practicing hard is the right way. Then he changed the subject and talked about the matter of the Buddhist clan. What do you think about the matter of Kong Wen's ball donkey? Zhu Qian didn't have a good impression of the Buddha family, so he didn't call him Buddha, but directly called him a ball donkey. Lin Tang shook his head. This matter is very strange. I really can't figure out how Kong Wen died so silently. Zhu Qian said, I have checked the soul world of Kong Wen ball donkey. His soul is not in the body, which means that when he died, his soul was elsewhere. You said, where did his soul go? How could Lin Tang know where Kong Wen Buddha's soul would go? Zhu Qian chuckled. Let's take a look together. His eyebrows glowed slightly, and an object flew out, which was a thin thread the size of a hair. The thin threads sparkle in the starry sky, which is extraordinary. Seeing this, Lin Tang couldn't help laughing. Why did I forget? You have a silk thread, by the way, why didn't you use it just now? Zhu Qian smiled and said, why use it? It's not the gods of the human race who died. The ball donkey of the Buddhist race died, so let them investigate by themselves. And the one who died was space. This traitor of the human race deserved his death. The old man clapped his hands and applauded before it was too late to help them investigate the cause of death. It's a good idea. Zhu Qian said gloatingly, in his mouth, Kong Wen deserved to die, even deserved to die long ago. Speaking of which, Zhu Qian activated the silk thread, which is a strange treasure, without any attack. Its function is to find a link between the two. Ultimately, the reason is because there is a trace of the law of cause and effect inside it. If there is a cause, there must be an effect, and if there is an effect, there must be a cause. As long as you find one end, you can contact the other end. After activating the silk thread, a drop of blood emerged from Zhu Qian's fingertips. This is the blood from the Space Buddha, which was secretly taken by Zhu Qian just now. After the silk thread absorbed the blood, it kept shining with light, and then a faint breath flew out from it, and landed directly on Lin Moyu. Lin Tang was shocked, and Zhu Qian was also shocked. According to the drawing thread, Buddha Kongwen died because of Lin Moyu. Kongwen heard that when the Buddha died, his soul was not in his body, but somewhere else. Needless to say, it must be in Lin Moyu's body. There is nothing wrong with pulling the thread. Lin Tang stared at Lin Moyu. So, at that time, I heard that the Buddha's soul was in Lin Xiaoyu's body. What did he want to do? Zhu Qian's eyes flashed with murderous intent. What else can I do? Forcibly cross the transformation, but the crossing failed, and the intention to kill was born, but I was killed instead. Lin Tang murmured, how did he do it? Zhu Qian chuckled. It seems that Lin Xiaoyu has a secret in him. Suddenly his eyes rolled, and he slapped his thigh violently. Understood, so it is like this. You are a Buddha, you are a space, you dare to accept the assassination mission of the demons. No, this domain mainly reports this matter and see what the city lord has to say. The bald donkeys of the Buddha clan are getting fatter. With that said, Zhu Qian has communicated with Renwang Network and reported the situation here. Lin Tang looked amused at the furious Zhu Qian, and comforted him. Don't worry too much, you're already old, and you're still like this. You have to know, you're the domain master. Zhu Qian said unhappily, bullshit domain master, whoever likes to be the master of this thing. The biggest wish of this old man is to slap his ass and leave as soon as possible. If you want to be the domain master, you will be the domain master. Lin Tang quickly shook his head and refused. It's down. Lin Moyu kept his ears shut and focused on refining the magic weapon. The magic weapon is not the same as the equipped weapon in the small world. A magic weapon often has multiple functions. It has no properties or anything like that. In fact, after leaving the small world, the attribute has been abandoned. There is no such thing as attribute in the big world. Everything is divided by realm and spoken by law. Although Lin Moyu has never refined the magic weapon of the great world, he has refined soul clothes, and he still uses soul refining. The sleeping coffin was also made by himself, so he probably knows the method of refining magic weapons. With his 4th grade soul level, it is very easy to refine it. In just half a day, the Battle King Tower has been refined, and the whole process is extremely easy. This made Lin Moyu a little strange. How could it be so relaxed? It seemed completely different from what he imagined. The Battle King Tower is the magic weapon of the God King realm. Its function is similar to that of the God Punishing Fortress, but it is more powerful. It can be regarded as an upgraded version of the God Killing Fortress. There is also a core inside it. When Lin Moyu felt the core, he suddenly felt a sense of familiarity. This is the core of the God Execution Fortress. When he felt the core, there was an intimacy from the core. Overjoyed in his heart, he realized that although the God Punishment Fortress could not be cultivated, its core could still be used. Zhu Qian used the core of the God Execution Fortress and the shell of the Battle King Tower for him. In this way, it will be easy for him to refine. Lin Moyu felt a tinge of gratitude to Zhu Qian. He knew it would not be easy to do so. Feeling the intimacy from the core, Lin Moyu communicated with it with consciousness, treating it like a pet. With the King of War Tower, if he encounters the Black Hawk King and Bat King before him, he will be in such a mess. Lin Moyu put away the Tower of the King of War, put it into the Soul World, wrapped it in the giant talent tree, and nourished it with soul power. Then began to refine the small jade sword. This is a soul-type magic weapon, which is in charge of attacking, and it is also a God King realm. But Lin Moyu feels that it is more powerful than the Tower of the King of War. With Lin Moyu's 4th grade soul, the soul power rolled out to wrap the little sword, and quickly imprinted his own brand on it. It also took only 1 day for the refining to be completed. The advantage of high soul quality is obvious, and the whole process is very smooth, without difficulty at all. The little sword drilled into the soul with a whoosh and appeared in the soul's hand. At this time Lin Moyu also knew the function of this sword. Soul-slaying sword, it contains the soul-slashing law, which can launch an amazing attack on the soul, and can break through the soul defense of the 3rd rank peak. Holding the soul-slaying sword, feeling the soul-slashing law in this sword. The Tower of the King of War can keep him alive under the hands of the Dark Lord and Bat King. Then Zhananjian made it possible for him to kill Black Eagle King and Bat King. Of course, it's just a chance, not a certainty. The Battle of Souls is extremely dangerous. It's like Kongwen Buddha's soul battle against himself. Although he had the upper hand, he was eventually killed by the system. If he chooses to kill himself in the real world, perhaps even the system may not be able to work. The soul battle will not be launched easily. Once it is launched, it will be put to death. Lin Moyu slowly opened his eyes and saw that Shungshan was still by his side. Lin Tang is no longer there. Zhu Qian smiled kindly. How's the refinement going? Lin Moyu got up and saluted Zhu Qian respectfully. Thank you, Master. The refining process of this junior went very smoothly. Zhu Qian smiled. With your soul quality, refining it will not take too much effort. Are you satisfied with these 2 magic weapons? Lin Moyu nodded. I'm very satisfied. I don't need to worry about it. Don't be so alien. Maybe we will be a family in the future. Zhu Qian's face was full of smiles, which made Lin Moyu's heart skip a beat. He secretly thought, Zhu Qian wouldn't have a granddaughter or something like that at home. Zhu Qian didn't explain, but whispered, I have something to tell you. Master Domain Master, please speak. Zhu Qian's expression gradually became serious. I don't ask how you killed Kongwen Bald Donkey, and you don't have to deny it. I know you did it. Lin Moyu was startled, and then smiled lightly. Sure enough, I can't hide it from Lord Territory Master. Zhu Qian shook his head. It's not that I can't hide it from me, but it's that I can't hide it from the law of cause and effect. I didn't expect there to be such a law. If there is a cause, there must be an effect. I thought that if I didn't tell it, no one would know. Lin Moyu sighed softly. In this way, people in the Buddhist family will also know. Zhu Qian shook his head and said with a smile, I have already cut off the cause and effect for you, and no one else can start with the law of cause and effect until it is you who did it. However, even if there is no evidence, those guys from the Buddha clan may find you. You still have to be careful. Lin Moyu asked, My lord, did the demons order the Buddhas to kill me? Not to mention instructing. Zhu Qian looked at the starry sky, and smiled softly, with a secretive smile. 0. Ask for flowers. But the culprit is indeed the demons, and you have entered the must-kill list of the demons. According to the information we got, in order to kill you, the demons found the killer of the Shadow clan, and at the same time they also found another clan. I guessed many races, but I didn't guess that it would be the Buddha race. Asking the Buddha race to take action, the price is not small. Lin Moyu frowned. According to what you said, the Buddhists don't take action easily, right? Zhu Qian nodded. On the surface, the Buddha clan is a neutral clan. They absorb all kinds of clans and never participate in the battles between the clans. They have enough strength to allow them to be neutral. But in fact, there are many dirty things behind the scenes, just like this time, you should have experienced it. If conversion is not successful, it will be forcibly converted. If it can't be cured, just kill it. The Buddha family is indeed one thing on the surface, but another thing behind the scenes. Such a hypocritical act looks worse than a devil. Zhu Qian laughed. It can be seen that you also hate hypocrites, and the old man also hates them very much. A hypocrite is even more contemptible than a real villain. You can be bad, but if you want to be bad, you can be completely bad. Don't be a whore, thinking about setting up a chastity archway. What Zhu Qian said was very unpleasant, even a little rude, not like what he should say in his capacity. Obviously, he doesn't have any good feelings for the Buddha family, and even hates them. Lin Moyu asked, what is the Mozu must-kill list? Zhu Qian said, it's just a list. There are some people that the demons want to kill, not only our human race, but also other races. Basically, they are young geniuses, people below the realm of gods. Actually, you can increase the authority to another level, and when you reach the 4th level of authority, you will be able to see this information. Not only the must-kill list of the demon race, but also several lists of our human race. You can take a look at it by yourself when the time comes. In our Vermilion Bird Starfield, the most important list is the Fire Sparrow list. When you reach the 4th level authority, remember to fight for the top spot, it will be beneficial. Lin Moyu nodded, I will. The Domain Master patted Lin Moyu on the shoulder. The Buddhist clan may not stop here, and the Shadow clan is good at assassination, so you have to be careful. If there is anything, please contact me at any time. Lin Moyu felt flattered, thank you again. He could feel that Zhu Qian was sincerely treating him well. Just like Bai Yiyuan, the mentor in the small world back then, he also sincerely did it for his own good. Lin Moyu will remember all those who were kind to him, and will never forget them. After Lin Moyu left, Zhu Qian also returned to his car. In front of him, an illusory shadow appeared. Zhu Qian respectfully saluted the shadow. My lord, what do you think about this matter? The Castellan's shadow was hazy, and his true face could not be seen, but his voice was extremely clear. It's just a Buddha who died, nothing more. I will ask someone to go to the Buddhist family to ask for an explanation on this matter, and you don't have to worry about it. There was domineering in the voice, and from the tone of the city lord, it seemed that he didn't take the Buddha family seriously. The sentence, it's just a Buddha who died, is so casual in his eyes, like someone's cat or dog is dead. The Buddha, who is equivalent to the realm of gods, is nothing in his eyes. Hearing the city lord's order, Zhu Qian let out a long breath. City lord, I have something else to do. Explain. Zhu Qian hesitated for a moment. This subordinate wants to resign. 310. No, do it well. The city lord refused without thinking. Yes. Zhu Qian looked helpless, but did not dare to disobey. The phantom of the city lord shook twice, and a voice came out, when you find a suitable successor, please resign. Zhu Qian is overjoyed, hang. The phantom disappeared, and Zhu Qian's face was full of excitement, as if he had been younger for many years. Finally, I can quit. But where can I find a successor? It's a headache, so I have to look for it. Zhu Qian's warship disappeared into the starry sky, and the starry sky of Galaxy 50 became quiet again. Only one day later, the human race announced to the outside world that the Buddha's preaching on Buddhism among the human race was cancelled for some reason. Humans have not only enemies, but also friends in the big world. There are a few small races with good relations, and they wanted to listen to the Buddhist sermons on Buddhism, but they suddenly cancelled it. For a while, many races in the big world speculated whether something happened between the Buddha race and the human race. Otherwise, the preaching on Buddhism that has lasted for countless years will be cancelled, no matter how easy it is to say it will be cancelled. It was also on the day when the human race announced the cancellation of preaching on Buddhism, a powerful human race with a deep breath entered the Buddhist clan. It is said that someone felt the huge fluctuation of the law, and the entire Buddhist clan was shaking that day. Some people also saw an incomparably brilliant galaxy of laws, covering most of the Buddhist star field. A day later, the man left. The Buddha clan announced the temporary closure of the star field and disconnection from the outside world. Some people judged that the Buddhist clan should have suffered a loss, and there seemed to be some problems between the human race and the Buddhist clan. But this matter, a supergod like Lin Moyu, a small person whose authority is less than level 4, doesn't know at all. Before the 4th level of authority, the range of activities is only 200 light-years, which is a very small range from the scale of the big world. Unless it's Gu Qingxuan, who has a god to be a master, it's another matter. Most people, at this stage, are still just frogs in a well, and they are far from seeing the real big world. So they don't know anything, and they are blind to many things that happen in the big world. Occasionally, I can hear some, true and false, and it is difficult to distinguish the truth from the truth. Lin Moyu and Ren Qiang returned to Galaxy 98 together. This is Ren Qiang's home, and it is also the foothold of Lin Moyu after he first came to the big world. Lin Moyu is more familiar with this place. After returning to the galaxy, Ren Qiang returned to his family. According to him, he has been away for several months and wants to go home to have a look. Lin Moyu went directly to the mission center to find new missions. This experience gave him a sense of urgency. I entered the must-kill list of the demons, and at the same time, the demons invited the Buddhas. If the system did not appear in time, I would definitely die. The Shadow Clan didn't know if they had acted. The Shadow Clan was famous for assassination, and they would attack and kill themselves at any time, so they needed to pay attention at all times. In the final analysis, it is still insufficient in its own strength. If the strength is enough, why should we be afraid of them? Now he is only one step away from the real God realm, and the degree of control of the law of immortality has reached 9%, and with another 1%, he can enter the true God realm. It looks like there is only a 1% gap, but it is actually very different. The super God realm and the true God realm will be a qualitative leap. Starting from the real God realm, the laws will be integrated into the soul, greatly increasing the power of the soul. Make the soul stronger. Lin Moyu has a deep understanding of this point. Although Kongwen Buddha is the same 4th grade soul as himself, Lin Moyu can feel that Kongwen Buddha's soul is stronger than his own. Its strength is because of the high realm, and the law is integrated into the soul. It is also because of the advantage of the home field that I can barely hold on for a while. Until Kongwen Buddha used the magic weapon of the soul, he lost instantly. The quality of the soul is important, and the level is equally important. But comprehending the law does not happen overnight, it takes time and opportunity. In the 1000 days of the time house, in fact, Lin Moyu raised his realm to the 9th level of super gods as early as the 600th day, and the degree of law control also increased to 9%. It's just that the last 1% has never been able to break through. Even if he has a 4th grade soul, he always feels a bit worse. Maybe this is the so-called chance. Lin Moyu looked at the task list over and over again, and there were many, tens of thousands of tasks with 3rd level authority. But for yourself, not many. Lin Moyu hopes to find the kind of tasks that can be challenging and allow him to progress. But looking around, there are not many such tasks. The reason is still that his own strength is too strong. The most difficult task of the 3rd level authority is only corresponding to the 1st level true God, but for Lin Moyu, there is no challenge at all. After searching for a long time, Lin Moyu suddenly laughed at himself. Why did I forget these 2 tasks? In the task list, he saw 2 tasks that he had done before, the challenge task. After such a long time, both missions have been refreshed and can be accepted again. There are 2 types of challenge tasks, single challenge and continuous challenge. A single challenge task can be accepted once a month. Continuous challenge tasks can be accepted once every 3 months. When seeing this task, Lin Moyu felt a whim, and his heart beat rapidly a few times. The heart of the flame burst out a large amount of blood containing strange substances, strengthening Lin Moyu's physical body. Lin Moyu didn't even think about it, and directly applied for the task. Try your current strength. Lin Moyu knows that he can fight across borders 5.0, but he doesn't know exactly how many levels he can cross. After accepting the task, you will receive the detailed information of the task. Enter the Human Emperor arena and challenge opponents of the same level as yourself. The winner will be rewarded with 1,000 points, and the loser will be rewarded with 100 points. Open black lens bracket matching opponents, please wait a moment. For the challenge tasks with level 3 authority, the basic reward has been increased from 100 points to 1,000 points. Even if you fail, you can get a guarantee of 100 points. It is 10 times that of the second level task. For some practitioners, this is the guaranteed minimum points that can be received every month. Only 5 minutes later, the Renwang network sent another message. The corresponding opponent has been matched, and the challenge will start in 5 minutes. Challengers are requested to find a suitable location, enter the Renwang network and send it to the Renwang arena. He randomly found a task room, paid points and closed the door, and in the next second he had already entered Renwang network. Directly teleported to the arena of the Emperor, the arena is still crowded with people outside the arena. In the ring arena, a series of competitions are going on. You can choose which match to watch outside the arena. If you want to watch different levels of competition, you need to pay the corresponding points. Generally speaking, no one pays attention to battles in the Super God realm. At the very least, everyone should watch the competitions in the real God realm, and the most popular ones are the competitions in the God King realm. As for the godly realm, this kind of competition is very rare, basically never encountered. Lin Moyu teleported directly into the arena. He didn't come to watch the game, but to perform the challenge task. The ring is still the same, he stands on the edge of the ring, unable to move except for talking. Only after the challenge starts, the platform will really open. The surrounding stands were still empty. No one is willing to spend money to watch the battle in the Super God realm. Lin Moyu also doesn't care, it's best if no one comes to see it, and it's clear. Soon, a light flashed across the ring, and the challenger arranged by Renwang Network appeared. Hey, it's still him. Lin Moyu was taken aback for a moment, never expecting to see old acquaintances again. When Chu Sheng saw Lin Moyu, his face changed suddenly. It's you again. His voice was like thunder, full of anger. Lin Moyu smiled and said, I've seen you before. Chu Sheng snorted, senior bullshit, there are no seniors here, only duomen. I was attacked by you last time, this time I will fight back. Look at how I'm torturing you this time, you should be mentally prepared, I'm very cruel. This person has a loud voice. Although he is angry, he is not murderous. Lin Moyu, who has the law of killing, is very sensitive to murderous intent, and can immediately sense that the opponent has no killing intent, but just looks fierce. Lin Moyu laughed, Senior, just let go and do what you want, you don't need to hold back. You said this, don't regret it. Chu Sheng gritted his teeth and said viciously. Lin Moyu felt that this person was a bit funny. Senior, please feel free. Okay. For the sake of your knowledge, I will be more gentle in a while. Chu Sheng shouted angrily, looking like he was sharpening his knife, which was very scary. The countdown is over and the task officially begins. Chu Sheng roared, and a huge saber appeared beside him. The field of law spread out in an instant, sweeping the entire arena, and in an instant, thousands of swords appeared on the entire arena. Chu Sheng chuckled. Unexpectedly, Renwang Network has suppressed Lao Su's cultivation to the 9th level of Super God, and the 9th level of Super God can already use the field of law. Your boy is also a 9th level Super God, and I will tell you that there are differences between the 9th levels of Super Gods. Suddenly, Chu Sheng realized that something was wrong, and frowned. Your boy is the 9th level Super God. Lin Moyu couldn't help laughing, this guy is really interesting, and now he finds out that he is the 5th level of Super God. I was still talking about it, and I just figured it out. Chu Sheng patted his head. The last time I saw you, you were only at the 3rd level of Super God. How come you are now at the 9th level of Super God? It's been less than a year. Let alone a year, in fact, it is only half a year. Lin Moyu has been promoted from the 3rd level of Super God to the 9th level of Super God, which is really a bit scary. Lin Moyu explained. Junior went to the time room. Chu Sheng snorted, no wonder, I was scared to death, how can anyone improve so fast? It turns out that I went to the time room, so it's normal. Lin Moyu looked at the densely packed sabers above his head, and asked curiously, Senior, what's the law? It's a bit strange. Chu Sheng grinned. This is Lao Tzu's law of Julie, and Lao Tzu integrated the law into weapons, forming a vision of the law. How about it? It's amazing. He smiled smugly. Lin Moyu thinks that Chu Sheng has no intentions, and he seems to be quite forthright. Integrating laws into weapons. It's a good idea. Lin Moyu thought about it for a while, and said to Chu Sheng, thank you for your advice, Senior. Chu Sheng waved his hand. It's not a secret. What to tell me? Are you ready? I'm going to do it. The junior is ready. The senior can do it at any time. Chu Sheng laughed loudly. Brat, die. Thousands of swords roared towards Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu didn't care about the swords falling like rain. Even if Chu Sheng used the field of law, it was only an attack of the super god level after all. No matter how strong it is difficult to cross the border. Even if it crosses the border, the attack of the first order true god Lin Moyu can still be ignored. Lin Moyu pointed out as before. Fusion spell, Curse of Time. Against a single opponent of the same level, this technique is the best, bar none. Fast, quiet, and powerful. Apart from ... it will hurt a little. With a scream, all the swords disappeared instantly. Together with Chu Sheng, they disappeared without a trace. Lin Moyu's technique came later and killed Chu Sheng in seconds. Compared with the last time, it was more straightforward. Lin Moyu sighed softly, hoping not to blame me. The mission has been completed. Please return the challenger to the mission center where you are, and deliver the mission. After receiving the reminder from Renwang Network, Lin Moyu exited the arena and returned to the mission center. On star 10-1, in front of the cliff waterfall, Zhuangbi is enjoying the delicious food while enjoying the beautiful scenery of the waterfall. In front of him, Chu Sheng sat with his eyes closed. Originally, the two had a good drink and chat, but Chu Sheng received a mission from Renwang Network and went to fight. Both of them are used to this kind of challenge, so it doesn't take much time. Zhuangbi calculated the time, and the battle was almost over. I don't know which guy has all these things and met this bastard. Zhuangbi knew Chu Sheng's character. As his opponent, he would probably be tortured a lot. Suddenly, a scream sounded. Chu Sheng regained consciousness. He hugged his head, and 990 cried out in pain. It hurts, it really hurts. The law surged all over the body, and the waterfall was affected, rolled upside down, and exploded into the sky full of rain in the air. Chu Sheng picked up the flagon and took a few sips, which made him feel better. Zhuangbi asked strangely, what's wrong with you? Have you been defeated? Chu Sheng shouted angrily, it's that brat again. It's the second time. Brat is too much. Zhuangbi rolled his eyes. Is that the young man named Lin Moyu? Chu Sheng snorted. Who else could it be if it wasn't him? I just opened the field of law, and I don't know what kind of magic technique the brat used, and he instantly killed me. Zhuangbi asked, has he reached the 9th level of super god? Nonsense, otherwise how would I support the domain of laws? Chu Sheng gulped down his wine with a gloomy expression on his face. The field of law has been opened, and it has been killed in seconds. Where can I find reason? Zhuangbi thought for a moment, then said softly, it seems that he can fight across borders. Chu Sheng gave a strange cry. Don't scare me, cross-border battles are not so easy. Zhuangbi smiled mysteriously. If you don't believe me, take a look. I guess he will continue to challenge, because Huangwang Network will normally arrange for me to challenge. Chu Sheng said, if you are really arranged, give me a good look at this kid, let him know what it means to respect seniors. Zhuangbi snapped and ignored him. Clean up Lin Moyu. Under the pressure of strength, it's not bad if you don't get cleaned up. Sure enough, only 10 minutes later, Zhuangbi received a message from Renwang Network. Someone wants to carry out continuous challenge missions, let him go to the challenge. Of course, Zhuangbi can also choose to refuse. Being a challenger is also one of his tasks. Under normal circumstances, Zhuangbi would not choose to refuse. Zhuangbi put down his wine glass and smiled. It should be him, I'll go and see. Chu Sheng snorted. I'll also go and see how this kid beat me. Zhuangbi went straight into the arena, saw Lin Moyu on the other side. He greeted with a smile. It really is junior brother Lin, long time no see. Junior brother Lin has reached the 9th level of super god, congratulations. Lin Moyu said politely towards Zhuangbi. Lin Moyu has met senior Zhuang, but this junior is just lucky and gets something occasionally. In the big world, luck is more important than talent. Zhuangbi smiled all over his face. He had a good impression of Lin Moyu and thought Lin Moyu was a talent to be created. Lin Moyu felt that someone was watching him, followed his gaze, and saw Chu Sheng in the stands. He was a little embarrassed. He killed Chu Sheng just now, and now the two sides met again. Chu Sheng waved his fist towards Lin Moyu. His eyes were a little fierce. He seemed to be saying something, but unfortunately the voice from the stands could not come in. Zhuang Bai smiled and said, "Don't pay attention to him. This guy doesn't know how he was defeated by you, so he wants to take a look." Lin Moyu understood, and cupped his hands slightly. "I also ask Senior Zhuang to correct me." Zhuang Bai shook his head and said, "Well, anyway, it's good to go all out. It doesn't matter what you hit. He is free and easy, as he was before. One sentence counts wherever you hit," which has already explained his state of mind. Lin Moyu also smiled. "Okay. The continuous challenge task of the third-level authority is the same as that of the second-level authority, starting from the same level, and going up from one level to the next. The opponent is getting stronger and stronger, and the mission rewards are getting higher and higher. Starting from 1,000 points, it becomes 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, and the points obtained for each victory will be doubled compared with the previous one. In the last mission, Lin Moyu had a record of 6 wins and 1 tie, scoring 6,300 points. If this record can be maintained this time, you can get 63,000 points. Together with the points accumulated before, it is enough to raise the authority to level 4. Level 4 authority can be regarded as truly entering the big world, jumping from the frog at the bottom of the well to the mouth of the well, and you can no longer just look at the sky on that side. Listening to the countdown from Renwang Network, Lin Moyu collected his mind and prepared for the battle. The field of Zhuangbi Law had just opened. Lin Moyu pointed his finger, and a red light flashed. Zhuang Bai was instantly killed. The first challenge was won. The second challenge will start in 3 minutes. Lian. Current cumulative reward, 1,000 points. In the stands, Chu Sheng trembled all over. This is how he was instantly killed just now, and it was extremely painful. He can feel that there are some laws in the spell, and the spell is to attack the soul, and the attack power is very strong. It's just that with his knowledge, the realm of the God King, he can't see what kind of law is contained in the trap. Obviously this kind of law is very powerful. Chu Sheng shuddered, and a thought popped up in his heart. It can't be the law of the first echelon. If it's the law of the first echelon, coupled with Dengfeng's soul attack, I won't be wrong. 2 minutes later, Zhuang Bai appeared on the ring again. Zhuang Bai shook his head lightly. The attack with the soul just now was uncomfortable. He didn't yell like Chu Sheng, and he still remained indifferent. Junior brother Lin's soul attack is stronger than before. Lin Moyu looked very humble. Senior Zhuang is too much. Zhuang Bai waved his hand, and a sharp sword appeared in his hand. You have to be careful this time. I am now the first order true god. Lin Moyu understood. Senior Zhuang, don't hold back. Zhuang Bai chuckled. For you, I dare not hold back. Zhuang Bai knew in his heart that in this match, Xian would most likely lose. Lin Moyu was too indifferent, his eyes full of confidence. This kind of confidence is not feigned, but that he has really faced opponents in the real God realm, and even killed people in the real God realm. The battle begins, and the field of law opens. Zhuang Bai also integrated its laws into weapons. Countless sharp swords appeared on the ring, and thousands of sword chi shot towards Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu still points out, and still uses the time curse. Zhuang Bai gave a light drink, his whole body was shining brightly, a sharp sword rose from his soul, and hit the cursed force. With a muffled snort, Zhuang Bai couldn't stop taking a few steps back, his face pale. Although he blocked the soul attack, he also suffered a little injury. Junior brother Lin's soul attack is indeed very strong, but at the beginning of the true God state, the law is integrated into the soul, and the soul's attack power and defense power will be greatly enhanced. Junior brother Lin, you have to be careful. Before he finished speaking, his anger had already fallen on Lin Moyu. Skeleton armor emerged from Lin Moyu's body, blocking thousands of sword chi. The 4-star spell linkage, automatic counterattack. A ball of white light appeared from Zhuang Bai's body, and the bone prison directly interrupted his words, and then the bone fangs and bone spears were activated, tearing Zhuang Bai to pieces. Second challenge victory. The third challenge will start in 3 minutes, please wait a moment. Current cumulative reward, 3,000 points. Lin Moyu felt a little embarrassed. Zhuang Bai was obviously kind, and told himself that the true God realm is to integrate the laws into the soul will be greatly improved, and at the same time, his own combat power will also increase accordingly. It's just that under the linkage of his own spells, he didn't even say the whole thing. Chu Sheng stared blankly at the side again. This time he vaguely understood something. This is the linkage of spells. Multi-star technique. It was as if he had seen a new world. Multi-star magic system. This is not common, no wonder it is so powerful. At least it is a 3-star magic system. What is the origin of this kid? How can he have a multi-star magic system? At this time, Chu Sheng had a strong curiosity about Lin Moyu, and it was the first time he had seen the multi-star spell. Lin Moyu didn't know Chu Sheng's thoughts at all, but felt that there was something wrong with this guy's eyes. He didn't care, but thought about what Zhuang Bai said just now. True God realm is to integrate the law into the soul, which greatly increases the attack power and defense power of the soul. The stronger the law, the stronger the soul, de Nuo Zhao, will become. When the soul is strong enough to a certain level, it can be manifested, from the virtual to the real, and come to the world. Every move has the strongest attack. But for the law to be integrated into the soul, one needs to control the law to at least 10%. He couldn't break through the last 1%. What's the difference? Lin Moyu whispered, very confused. Zhuang Bai returned to the arena again. He was not unhappy at all, and said with a smile, I forgot that junior brother Lin has multi-star spells. The power is really good. Junior brother Lin does have the ability to fight across borders. This set of multi-star spells alone is enough to walk sideways in the first level of the true god. Lin Moyu said modestly, Senior Zhuang, that's why you say I look like a hedgehog. Zhuang Bai laughed loudly, it's not too bad. Lin Moyu feels that he is indeed similar to a hedgehog, even more difficult than a hedgehog. Lin Moyu clasped his fists at Zhuang Bai and saluted, Senior Zhuang, I have something to ask you. The third battle began, and the field of law unfolded, and Zhuang Bai's soul appeared above its head, but it was not a manifestation of the soul, it was just a phantom. The strength is suppressed to the second level of the true god, and the soul is also suppressed. Even if Zhuang Bai has the ability to manifest the soul, he can't do it. Unless in the real world, when he was at the second level of the true god, he completed the soul manifestation. His soul phantom holds a sword, which is condensed by laws, and it is integrated with the soul, regardless of each other. Law permeated the arena, but Zhuang Bai did not launch an attack. Lin Moyu also did not launch an attack. He carefully sensed Zhuang Bai's soul phantom, hoping to get some inspiration from it. He was stuck at the 9th level of the super god, only one step away from the real god. All the basic conditions have been met, and now perhaps only a little bit of opportunity is missing to break through. When Lin Moyu made this request, Zhuang Bai agreed without hesitation, which made Lin Moyu very grateful. After all, the soul is the most secret existence of a person, how could it be easily watched by others? Zhuang Bai's kindness made Lin Moyu remember in his heart. On the stands, Chu Sheng frowned, this guy Zhuang Bai, why do you show your soul to others, you can't do good deeds. He couldn't hear the conversation between Lin Moyu and Zhuang Bai, but he could probably guess it. If it were him, he might not necessarily agree. After thinking for a long time, Chu Sheng still couldn't figure out why Zhuang Bai did this. Lin Moyu felt it carefully for a while, and gradually had his own thoughts in his heart. Is this last 1% to be felt through the soul? It may be possible to condense the domain of law into one and integrate it into the soul. Lin Moyu's eyes glowed slightly, revealing surprise. What I think may really be successful. He cupped his fists towards Zhuang Bai and saluted, thank you senior, I understand later. Zhuang Bai laughed loudly, then let's continue. The second level of true god, 12% law control, you have to be careful. Lin Moyu nodded, senior, please do it, junior will be careful. Okay. Zhuang Bai was not polite, and the law domain blasted out, sweeping the ring. Thousands of sharp swords appeared in all directions. At this time, a strange star rose above Lin Moyu's head. Double law field emerges. The law of immortality and the law of killing merged into one, turning into a law dragon, roaring and galloping. As soon as Lin Moyu's law field appeared, the thousands of sharp swords collapsed instantly. Zhuang Bai was taken aback, his law field was completely suppressed. He didn't allow him to think too much, the dragon of law was already approaching, Zhuang Bai dodged immediately. At this moment, his body froze suddenly, and a layer of bone armor appeared. The whole person stopped in midair, unable to move. The divine dragon of law followed closely and swallowed Zhuang Bai in one gulp. The third challenge was won. The fourth challenge will start in 3 minutes, like. Current cumulative reward, 7,000 points. Lin Moyu won another game. It is also the field of law, the double field of law composed of the law of immortality and the law of killing, completely crushing Zhuang Bai's field of law. At this time, Chu Sheng's eyes were serious, and he murmured, "So strong. With the law field of the 9th level of the super god, how can it be not strong to crush the law field of the 2nd level of the true god?" Chu Sheng has been completely sure that the law controlled by Yao Moyu must be the law of the 1st echelon. Otherwise, it would not be so strong. The law of the 1st echelon, multi-star spells, and fighting across borders, is our human race known as a super genius. I don't know who is stronger or weaker than those perverts in Shenzhen. 2 minutes later, Zhuang Bai returned again, and his mood seemed to be better than before. Very good, keep working hard and see where your combat power can go. Although he was defeated by Lin Moyu again and again, he didn't feel uncomfortable at all, but felt very happy. He can only be happy that new genius blood can appear in the human race. Lin Moyu nodded. Your junior understands, please don't blame Zhuang Qian. Zhuang Bai waved his hand. The stronger you are, the happier I am. In the 4th battle, Zhuang Bai was already at the 3rd level of the true god, surpassing Lin Moyu by a big realm, plus a 3rd level of small, ACCG, realm. For Lin Moyu, the pressure builds quickly. At the super god level, every time one level is raised, the strength will vary a lot. At the true god level, this gap is still widening. At the 2nd level of true god, Lin Moyu can still use his own law field to crush. But at the 3rd level of true god, Zhuang Bai's control over the law has reached 14%, greatly surpassing Lin Moyu. In addition, the soul is also more powerful. Although it is still not as good as Lin Moyu in the field of law, it can already withstand it by a bit. Lin Moyu has been unable to form a crushing trend. It's not just that the field of laws cannot be crushed, every aspect of Zhuangbi has been improved. The technique has become stronger, and the defense has also been greatly improved. The influence of the bone prison on him has been greatly weakened, and the bone fangs and spears cannot easily tear through his defense. He can play back and forth with Lin Moyu. Chu Sheng saw it, and nodded secretly. It's very good, I can fight beyond the 3rd level. At this time, Zhuang Bai said loudly, Junior brother Lin, don't hold back. Chu Sheng was taken aback when he heard this. Lin Moyu didn't try his best yet. At this moment, he heard Lin Moyu's voice again, Senior Zhuang, I've offended you. Then, he saw dozens of skeleton dragons descending from the sky. The giant skeleton dragon breathed out deadly dragon breath, covering the entire arena. Cooperating with the double domain of law, the power of the dragon's breath of the skeleton dragon has greatly increased. There was no way for Zhuang Bai to avoid it, so he could only rely on his own defense to support himself in the dragon's breath. He wanted to kill Lin Moyu several times, but was blocked by the skeleton dragon. But it will take some time for the skeleton dragon to kill him. Lin Moyu sighed secretly. Even though he has controlled the law to 9% now, the law that can be carried in the spell is still only 1%. In this way, the power of the technique is greatly limited. It doesn't need to be much, even if the spell can carry 3% of the law of immortality, skeleton chariot dragon, it is enough to break the Zhuangbi of the main rank of the true god in seconds. Lin Moyu's fingertips emitted a misty light. Fusion spell, summon Death Dragon Rider. The Death Knight appeared, merged with the skeleton dragon, and became a Death Dragon Knight. After the fusion, the Death Dragon Knight's combat power has been greatly improved. The dragon's breath became more violent, and the Death Dragon Knights charged one after another, attacking Zhuangbi. Zhuangbai couldn't hold on any longer and was killed after a few seconds. The 4th challenge wins. The 5th challenge will start in 3 minutes, please wait a moment. Current cumulative reward, 15,000 points. Lin Moyu let out a long breath. The curse from the Big World runes still prevented him from fully exerting his strength. At this time, Chu Sheng was dumbfounded, and murmured, what is this guy summoning? A bunch of skeletons, how could it be so powerful? Zhuangbai seems to know this kid's technique, there must be something hiding it from me. Mother, you have to ask carefully later. At this time, the space on the stage was beating, and figures with strong breaths appeared on the stands. Winning 4 games in a row in the consecutive challenge missions once again attracted the attention of all the big bosses of the human race. As long as someone wins 4 consecutive challenge missions, it means that this person has the ability to fight beyond the 3rd level. Renwang Network will directly pass the message to the corresponding personnel. These people are all bigwigs in the Vermilion Bird Starfield, and without exception, they are all in the realm of gods. Among them, the Star Masters of Galaxies 2 to 10 are all there, and the Domain Master Tilda Zhuqian is also there. Lin Moyu, it's him again. I didn't expect this kid to practice so fast. In just half a year, he went from the 3rd level of Super God to the 9th level of Super God. And the increase in combat power has not slowed down at all, and it is also strong. Not only fighting across borders, but after crossing the big realm, we also crossed several small realms. This sun is a material that can be made. Several seniors commented one after another, their eyes shifted from Lin Moyu to Zhuqian. With a smile on his face, Zhuqian was very satisfied with Lin Moyu's performance. He glanced at everyone. Don't look at me, I've already made a decision, and the City Lord has already known, so you don't need to fight anymore. Don't even think about pushing your granddaughter over there, or else be careful that the old man will come to your door. Zhuqian's words dispelled the thoughts that these people shouldn't have. There is no way. Zhuqian is the boss of Suzaku Starfield. His words are very useful here. The bosses smiled wryly, who made them slow down. Zhuqian nodded to Lin Moyu, telling him to behave well. Lin Moyu was watched by everyone, and there was no wave in his heart. It's just a god, I've killed them all, it's no big deal. On the contrary, Xu Sheng was taken aback by the sudden appearance of the bosses, and he shrank to the side and complained secretly, how did I forget this? This kid won 4 games in a row, and he will definitely attract the attention of the gods. Besides, it seems that he has already been here last time, and this kid is still favored by the Domain Master. I'm afraid this kid will take off in the future. It seems that we need to have a good relationship with him. Zhuangbai seems to have a good relationship with him. Xu Sheng thought a lot in his heart and had a new understanding of Lin Moyu. Just 2 minutes, because of the appearance of these bigwigs, seems to have become a lot longer. After Zhuangbai reappeared, he swept his gaze across the stage, and then bowed slightly to everyone. He had already guessed that it would be like this. It was like this last time. These big shots had already been here once. What happened this time is nothing surprising. Zhuangbai looked at Lin Moyu. Junior brother Lin, if I remember correctly, your strongest should be another kind of skeleton with a sword and shield. Lin Moyu nodded, yes. Zhuangbai held the long sword in his hand. This time my cultivation base has reached the 4th level of the true god, and it's time for you to use the skeleton. Lin Moyu had originally planned to use the Skeleton God General. If he didn't use the Skeleton God General, this match would be difficult. As the countdown ends, the 5th challenge begins. When the Field of Law is opened, the Field of Law collides in the arena. The 4th level of the True God, 16% law control, the power of the law field has once again increased, and it can already compete with Lin Moyu's double law field. The Law Dragon collided with Zhuangbai's thousands of sword chi, setting off a huge wave of law, and the whole arena roared. This is still in Renwang's network. If it were in the real world, this kind of collision would probably affect a large area. The strength of both of them has completely surpassed the Super God realm, and the aftermath of the law alone is enough to kill other Super God realms. Zhuangbai smiled and said, Junior brother Lin's law field is really strong, probably the first echelon law. Lin Moyu generously admitted, Senior Zhuang sees it well, it is indeed the first echelon rule. Zhuangbai laughed and said, my human race has a talent like you, congratulations. Come on, summon your skeleton, I want to try the sword again. As you wish. Lin Moyu's fingertips glowed slightly, and the spell quickly merged. Fusion technique, summon the skeleton general. A skeleton god with a height of more than 5 meters and holding a sword and shield will appear on the ring. Immediately afterwards, the 2nd, 3rd, and 100th. In an instant, thousands of skeleton generals appeared on the ring, occupying various positions. The Law Dragon in the law field turned into 1,000, wrapped around the skeleton god general, and rushed towards Zhuangbai like a whirlwind. Under the circumstance that the magic star cannot carry too many laws, Lin Moyu thought of this second best method, which can also enhance the power of the magic to a certain extent. It's just far inferior to the direct bearing law. According to Lin Moyu, talking is better than nothing. Good time. Zhuangbai waved his long sword amidst laughter, and within his domain of law, the sword energy intertwined vertically and horizontally, forming an impenetrable network of sword energy. The skeleton god general threw himself into the net, and clanging sounds erupted from his body. Countless sword chi struck the skeleton god general like iron. Skeleton gods and generals were hindered in their actions, as if stuck in a quagmire, moving forward with difficulty. For every point of progress, one has to bear countless sword attacks. 0 seeking flowers. The field of law covers the world and forms a powerful defense to stop the skeleton generals. The skeleton god will hold a large shield and wield a bone sword to fight against the sword energy and move forward with difficulty. At this time, the figure of the Death Dragon Knight appeared in the sky again, and thousands of Death Dragon Knights descended from the sky, spraying deadly dragon breath. The undead flames surrounded Juongbi's law field, and the undead flames burned blazingly, turning Juongbi's law field into a huge fireball. Immediately afterwards, more skeleton gods will appear and kill the past. Lin Moyu has already seen that although Juongbi's sword energy is dense, its quantity is also limited. Moreover, external attacks can also weaken its law field. As long as you have enough skeleton gods, and the dragon's breath continues, with two prongs, there will always be times when Juongbi can't hold on. If you defend for a long time, you will lose. As long as Juongbi can't strangle the skeleton gods and generals, it will be difficult to defend sooner or later. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry, and controlled the entire battle situation through the sight of the skeleton general. At the same time, his law field kept pressing forward, exerting pressure on Juongbi. Juongbai's field of law is gradually shrinking, and the scope for his activities is getting smaller and smaller. After Juongbai tried his best to guard against it for 5 minutes, the law field finally collapsed, and Juongbai was also swallowed by the attack of the skeleton general. 5th challenge victory. The 6th challenge will start in 3 minutes, for sale. Current accumulated rewards, 31,000 points. All the bosses watched the whole battle with satisfaction on their faces. Not only for Lin Moyu, but also for Juongbai's performance. Both of them can be made. It's not bad to be a challenger of Renwang Network, and Renwang Network's requirements are not low. Renwang Network's assessment of people is all round, not only strength, but also potential, character, and adaptability. Looking at him, it's like seeing us when we were young. I really miss it. All the gods were discussing and remembering the past. Lin Moyu closed his eyes and meditated. It seems that we can fight one more time, so it will be the same as last time, maintaining 6 wins, and finishing with a tie. I'm still undefeated. The limit of my combat power should be at the 5th level of the true god. In a head-to-head battle, I can grind to death the 5th level of the true god, but I can retreat completely in front of the 6th or even 7th level of the true god. Lin Moyu's heart is like a mirror, estimating his real combat power. The 6th challenge begins, and the domains of laws collide with each other, setting off a huge wave of laws again. This time, Juongbi's strength has been raised to the 5th level of the true god, and the field of law is stronger, and it has begun to crush Lin Moyu's double field of law. Tens of thousands of sword chi crisscrossed the arena, and Lin Moyu's law field was retreating steadily. Death Dragon Knights and skeleton gods will pounce on Juongbi from all directions, and the dragon's breath is burning, trying to weaken Juongbi's law field. Holding the long sword in his hand, Juongbai said in a deep voice, "The 5th level of the true god, junior brother Lin. When I was at the 5th level of the true god, I realized the rudimentary form of the manifestation of the law. This battle, you have to be careful." Lin Moyu's heart trembled slightly. Juongbai is telling himself that now he has used the embryonic form of the law. The manifestation of laws is the most powerful means of the true god realm. Even if it is only a prototype, it should not be underestimated. Lin Moyu looked solemnly. "Thank you brother for reminding me. This junior should also do his best." The ring was shaken violently, and the eyes of the dead appeared in the empty 093, as if a world belonging to the undead came to the world. The eyes of the undead opened, staring at Juongbi. The whole arena was engulfed by silvery white flames. The red light filled the air, and the curse of time fell. At this moment, the entire arena has changed, and Lin Moyu's firepower is fully fired. Sword. With a soft shout, a ray of sword light smashed the flames. In the flames, a shrunken version of Juongbi appeared above Juongbi's head, which was Juongbi's soul. The soul holds a small sword in its hand, and the soul throws the small sword upwards, and a hazy sharp sword rises slowly, accompanied by the powerful sword light and law. The sword light soared to the sky, cutting off the eyes of the undead, and at the same time killing the curse of time. The sharp sword is slightly empty, which is the embryonic form of Juongbai's soul. With this appearance, the entire field of laws instantly turned into a world of swords, and Lin Moyu's field of laws was instantly crushed. The sword became infinitely large in the blink of an eye, and fell towards Lin Moyu head-on. Wherever it passes, the law is broken, and the skeleton god and the death dragon knight are slowly chopped into pieces. Lin Moyu's eyelids twitched, the sword made him feel threatened, he let out a light drink, and countless law dragons rushed out of the law field, galloping towards the sharp sword. The sword collided with the law dragon, and the law dragon collapsed on the spot. This sword, cutting off the law, fell on Lin Moyu's law field. The field of law collapsed like glass on the spot, and the sword weakened slightly, falling on Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's whole body emitted brilliant white light, and his skeleton armor was broken under the sharp sword. With the linkage of spells, Zhuangbai's movements paused for less than 0.1 second. Lin Moyu's face remained unchanged, and he received Zhuangbai's sword with himself without any damage. Zhuangbai looked slightly disappointed. Junior brother Lin, your defense is stronger. Lin Moyu smiled slightly. Senior knows that the strongest thing of juniors is not attack, but defense. Zhuangbai sighed. Go on. He pointed, and a sharp sword appeared again in the hand of the soul above his head, a sharp sword composed of laws. Amidst the sound of the sword energy danced wildly, and the skeleton god general and the death dragon knight collapsed at the touch of each other. However, every time the sword energy kills a skeleton, it will also weaken by 1 point. The power in sword chi is limited, and the law is limited. At that time, an astonishing number of skeleton generals and death dragon knights appeared on the ring. Tens of thousands of skeleton god generals and death dragon knights surrounded the entire arena. At the same time, Lin Moyu's law domain took shape again, and the law gods scattered exploded, wrapping around the undead, increasing their strength. Except for Zhuangbai's first sword, which shattered Lin Moyu's law field. Zhuangbai roared angrily, and the soul swung his sharp sword to clear the way, rushing towards Lin Moyu. On the way, there were skeleton god generals and death dragon knights blocking him, and they were all beheaded by him. Lin Moyu spread out his undead wings and quickly backed away, keeping a very long distance from Zhuangbai. No matter how hard Zhuangbai tried, he couldn't break through the defense line formed by the undead. The undead army can't kill them all, no matter what, the number doesn't matter. This reminded Zhuangbai of the last time he fought against Lin Moyu. That was the case, he was overwhelmed by countless undead seas. Lin Moyu avoided fighting, and only let the undead kill his strength. Everyone knows that power is not endless, it just depends on who is exhausted first. Zhuangbai chased and killed Lin Moyu all the way, and Lin Moyu released more undead legions. After grinding for a full hour, Zhuangbai's strength finally began to weaken. But Lin Moyu seized the opportunity to attack. This time, the situation turned around, and Zhuangbai changed from active to passive. Until his power was completely polished and exhausted, the undead army caused quantitative changes to cause qualitative changes, filling the law field of Zhuangbai. Finally, Zhuangbai was sent away unwillingly. Victory in the 6th challenge. The 7th challenge will start in 3 minutes, please wait a moment. Current accumulated rewards, 63,000 points. When Chu Sheng saw it, his eyelids twitched. He could feel how depressed Zhuangbai was playing just now. This guy, how many skeletons are there, and it seems like he can't kill them all. And his defense is really strong. If there is no absolute strength, there is really nothing to do with it. With the 9th level of Super God, against the 5th level of True God. There is a difference of 1 big realm, plus 5 small realms. In such a disadvantaged situation, he was able to consume his opponent to death, which not only showed Lin Moyu's fighting power against the sky, but also showed his ability to continue fighting against the sky. Throughout the battle, Lin Moyu didn't take a breath, and he was extremely calm from the beginning to the end, revealing his strong foundation. All the deities present could analyze this information, and all looked at Lin Moyu differently. Soon, the 7th challenge begins. Lin Moyu knew that he couldn't win this match. The fact is the same as he thought. Zhuangbai of the 6th level of the True God, the law control rate has reached 20%, more than 10 times higher than his own. 20% law control, the power of the law has reached a new level. When Zhuangbai expanded the field of laws, Lin Moyu's laws collapsed at the touch of a button. Strange stars shone brightly, and with all his strength, he could only maintain his dual law field within a range of 10 meters around his body. Zhuangbai's soul became stronger. The soul manipulated the sharp sword of law, and the sword energy strangled most of the skeletons on the ring almost instantly. The difference is 1 level, but the combat power is turned upside down. Lin Moyu simply put away the skeleton, turned into a human shield, and took Zhuangbai's attack hard. Lin Moyu doesn't know what laws Zhuangbai is manipulating, but his laws can still be weakened by his own spells. After all, it has not been able to break away from the category of elemental laws and physical laws. After entering the big world on 4.9, I saw all kinds of laws, especially in the sea of laws. There are thousands of law stars, and it can be said that 99.9% of them have not been able to break away from these two types of laws. Lin Moyu also felt how perverted his two passive techniques were. The most abnormal thing is the talent. The 200 times increase has pushed the effects of the two passive spells to the extreme. Coupled with the damage reduction of the talent itself. Taken together, the damage weakened by 80,000 times made his defense completely surpass the level itself. Even if there is no skeleton as a human shield, he is the strongest existence by himself. Faced with the stormy attack from Zhuangbi, Lin Moyu remained calm. Zhuangbai had no choice but to sigh, "Junior brother Lin, your defensive power is really enviable. Next, I have one last strike. If you can block it, we will call it a draw." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Brother Zhuang, please." Zhuangbai's soul kept his eyes closed from beginning to end. Now, his eyes snapped open and shot a ray of light. Refined the sword and cut towards Lin Moyu. This sword is called soul slashing, and it is an attack aimed at the soul. "Brother Lin, please be careful." At the same time that Zhuangbai drew out his sword, a voice followed. The sword enters the soul, just like a mud cow enters the sea, without any waves. Zhuangbai was stunned, a little puzzled, why his attack had no effect at all. Lin Moyu smiled slightly, "Brother Zhuang, my soul defense is actually stronger." "Ah." Zhuangbai couldn't help laughing, "Brother Lin, I don't know how to judge you anymore. Forget it, fight us civilians." Lin Moyu bowed slightly to Zhuangbi, "Thank you, brother, for your enlightenment." Lin Moyu's defense is too perverted, he can't beat it all. What can he do if there is a tie? Lin Moyu himself knows that his physical defense is actually not bad, as long as the 8th level of the true god is enough to pose a threat to himself. But the soul defense is really too strong, and there is basically no way to take Lin Moyu in the territory of the true god. Even if Lin Moyu has the intention to kill, he can also carry out counter-kill. Lin Moyu also knew at this time that he had a chance to defeat Zhuangbai. All he needed to do was use the soul-slashing sword and carry out a soul attack. But Lin Moyu felt that there was no need for it. The current record of 6 wins and 1 tie, and 63,000 points rewards were enough to raise his authority. There is no need to do things absolutely, and it is good for yourself to keep some cards. Zhu Tian nodded slightly, with admiration in his eyes. Lin Moyu knows how to advance and retreat. When it should be high key, it should be high key, and when it should be low key, it is very good. With the agreement of both parties, the 7th battle ended in a tie. Your continuous challenge mission ends here. Total rewards, 63,000 points. Your record in the Renwang arena will be saved. I hope you can always remain undefeated. You will leave in 1 minute. Welcome to Ren Live Odaiba again. Zhuangbai said to Lin Moyu, "When you are free, remember to come to Galaxy 10, Chudasha, and I will treat you to a drink." Lin Moyu replied with a smile, "If there is a chance, I will definitely come." Zhuangbai obviously had a good impression of Lin Moyu, and Lin Moyu also had a good impression of Zhuangbai. After several battles in a row, both sides felt that the other party was a good friend. After leaving the Renwang training ground, Lin Moyu's consciousness returned to the task room. After point settlement, Lin Moyu's authority was automatically upgraded to level 4. From the 4th level, Lin Moyu's range of activities has expanded to the entire Suzaku starfield. Level 3 to level 4 is a huge transformation. It can be said that it is the first step to jump from the frog at the bottom of the well to the mouth of the well and truly see the world. Everyone will have different feelings and shocks when they are promoted to the 4th level authority. But now Lin Moyu doesn't have the time to spare. He sits in the task room with his eyes closed, and all the insights from the previous battles are pouring in. In particular, Zhuangbai showed himself the soul of the true God realm, told him some characteristics of the true God realm, and let him understand the way to go in the future. After several consecutive battles, Lin Moyu saw the power of the true gods even more. That is a different power from that of the transcendent God realm. To sum it up in one sentence, it is cheap to fuse soul and law. Everyone knows that after reaching the super God realm, the most important thing for a practitioner is the law and the soul. The soul is the foundation, and the law is the weapon. But in the super God realm, the law is the law, and the soul is the soul. Although the two have some connections with each other, they are not completely integrated. But after reaching the real God realm, the laws and the soul began to truly merge together. As the level increases, the degree of integration between the two will become higher and higher. Until the soul is full of laws, under the cover and protection of the laws, the soul is realized. Every move of the soul, every move and every style can mobilize the law. I understand, I finally understand. From a super god to a true god, the last 1% is not realized by oneself, but through the soul. The soul opened his eyes, and on his small palm, a group of gray and white rules appeared. The control rate of the law of immortality is 9%, which is still a little short of 10%. The soul is the container, the law of smelting. Lin Moyu snorted softly, and the law of immortality in his hand immediately penetrated into his soul. Before the soul could mobilize and use the law, but never actively absorb the law. Now Lin Moyu let the soul inhale the law into the soul to smelt the law. The whole process is like refining a magic weapon with the soul, treating the law as a magic weapon, and turning the soul into firewood for refining. The law is assimilated with the soul bit by bit. Lin Moyu's soul quality is too high, and the whole refining process is very smooth. Lin Moyu also finally understood that to become a true god requires at least a second-grade soul. Because there are too many impurities in the first-grade soul, it is impossible to smelt the law. Even if it is barely smelted, it will make the law impure, which will actually cut off the way forward. Therefore, the soul is the root, the most important root. Lin Moyu has a fourth-grade soul, not to mention being a true god. Even becoming a god is enough. In this way, his process of smelting the law was extremely smooth. In just one day, the law of immortality has been completely melted into the soul. The soul world vibrated violently, and a vast galaxy appeared in the soul world king. The galaxy of laws appeared, in which gray and white alternated. The power of life and the power of death flowed slowly in the galaxy. They are intertwined and relatively independent. There is me in you in me, but they do not interfere with each other. Under the galaxy of laws, there is a small tributary. This tributary branched off from the law galaxy and connected to Lin Moyu. At the very end of the tributary, a part has been changed and marked with the mark of Lin Moyu. This is the law of immortality controlled by Lin Moyu, with only 9% control, which is so insignificant compared to the entire galaxy of laws. Lin Moyu felt his own insignificance, and felt that the world was vast, far beyond his imagination. At this time, the part controlled by Lin Moyu in the tributary has a little more. Another part was branded as belonging to Lin Moyu. The control of the law has taken a step forward. Lin Moyu showed a lot of enlightenment, and his mastery of the law of immortality went a step further, finally reaching 10%. Although it only increased by 1%, Lin Moyu felt that his understanding of the law had increased several times. A better understanding of the law of immortality makes it easier to wield it. The 10% rule is integrated into the soul, which is completely different from the previous feeling. A huge aura emanated from his body, swept across the mission center in an instant, and then swept across the entire star. Lin Moyu began to break through, transforming from a super god to a true god. The cultivators on the stars sensed Lin Moyu's breakthrough aura one after another, with surprise on their faces. How to break through here? Among the stars, the laws are unknown, and the power of the great world is not strong enough, so it's really not a good place to suddenly. It's a big transformation for a super god to break through to a true god. You should go to the starry sky. It's best to go to the temple of the god of war. There is a training room in the temple of the god of war. You can spend some points to rent one. With the star formation, you will have more power. Everyone shook their heads, feeling that there was something wrong with the location of Lin Moyu's breakthrough. Among the stars, it is not suddenly a good place. Come to the temple of war god to break through. A voice suddenly sounded in Lin Moyu's ear, which woke Lin Moyu up. Lin Moyu recognized this voice, which came from Luo Chankan from the temple of war god. Without any hesitation, Lin Moyu immediately left the mission room and went directly from the teleportation array to the temple of war god.